fully adapting to this small roster change of Awe now playing support role. So I think in that sense, they should be able to brush up and then maybe gain some momentum back for themselves as we look at the game starting over here. Taipei Snipers starting things off on the blue side, SAJ on the purple team.
That's quite interesting. You said that Azubu Taipei Snipers are one of the few teams that consistently go in for the level 1 invades. Let's see if it happens this game, because the way they're lining up, it signals to me that Azubu Taipei Snipers are going for a 2v1 lane swap against Warwick. And they feel that maybe, or possibly, Zonda's Mundo matchup against QTV's Warwick is not going to go in their favor. Hence, they really want to use the Silver Leona bully lane to shut down the 2v1.
That's right, so it does look like Taipei Snipers might actually go for a lane swap over here. And it's a pretty surprising change as well, because in the recent 4.1 and even in the 4.2 changes, we see that the top air mid lane turret has that damage reduction for the first 8 minutes of the game. So I wonder if this strategy for Taipei Snipers is going to pull off by itself. But if they go for the lane swap, it's a lot of free harassment down to QTV, who's going to be playing that Warwick, who is going to be bullied out for the first 6 levels. And at least for Zonda, like what we just saw over here, he still has that cleaver. And actually, Optimus taking a whole ton of damage. The Ignite will actually go down onto him, but he will just be able to walk off with that red pot, just regenerating himself back up. So a very close call for him, and O'Reilly now just going all in right from the start.
Yeah, so let's kind of take a look at how the lanes are going to match up. Will we see SAJ actually pull off that lane swap, a counter lane swap, I would say, to force the 2v2, or will they just kind of settle for the 2v1 lanes?
Right, so it does look like it's going to be the 2v1 now. Awe will meet up with QTV, just zoning up just a little bit. So God JJ will have all the free space to farm up that top lane, and for Zonda himself has ran back already, get some health back, and I'll get some items for himself, and he will choose to move on back. And Awe now playing aggressively onto QTV, and rightfully so.
Yeah, and talking about your point, the fact that the mid and the top lane turrets aren't really getting, or actually are getting a damage reduction in the early game. We do see QTV getting harassed. I don't think they'll be able to kill him just yet. Awe as well as God JJ is still level 1. They just really want to bully him out in the early game. He puts down a wall to kind of get sight from Win's gangs as we enter another pause. But let's kind of talk about the mid and the top lane turrets. I know it's quite frustrating to see the game constantly pause, but let's have a nice conversation about the fact that I want to talk about Dignitas. They run Jinx in the 2v1 lane and just demolish turrets constantly. And one of the games I always have to recall that they were hitting the inhibitor turret at the 6-minute mark.
Well, you always have to remember now that Jinx has the additional attack speed just from that power itself as we come back into this game. So we don't have any Jinx this game. So do you think that Syrah is a substitute, or can, you know, be that substitute to kind of fill in that shoes now that there's no Jinx in this game?
Okay, Sivir alone may not be able to do it, but the Sivir Leona combination from the Sunlight passive should allow Sivir to actually push and wave clear it more effectively than what Jinx can do. And if you actually are able to wave clear effectively, you may not have the attack speed boost from Jinx, but you have the additional minion damage coming in because you are able to wave clear so effectively.
Right, so Winstar coming into the fray. QTV will choose to flash out, but with the red buff constantly slowing him into range, it does look like Wins did not actually secure the kill. Taipei Snipers did not get the finishing blow onto QTV, and he will choose to walk out from that one. That is the swag weak top lane Warwick that we're talking about.
I was very sure that Wins was in range of his, what's his Q? Taste the Fear.
Yes.
And it didn't seem like he managed to get that Taste the Fear off, and this aggression allows SAJ safety to actually rotate down to the bottom lane, push Zonda away from the turret, and gives SAJ the first turret of the game.
That was clearly a miscommunication from Taipei Snipers there. But nevertheless, at least wins didn't go down in the process.
So-
But because of that, they will actually lose the bottom lane control over here as they start with on Dragon.
Exactly. So one of the things that happens when a team plays aggressive, such as TPS, makes the move first into the top lane with a 2v1 lane, it signals to the other team that you can easily take a free Dragon. So what they do instead is take the turret and now take the Dragon. Zonda had to burn his teleport and then cancel it because he was in a precarious situation.
Well, we actually effectively saw the second miscommunication from Taipei Snipers there. I think Zonda actually wanted to go into the fray, but in a sense he cancelled out the teleport. And Saigon Jokers, they were pretty patient to make sure that the aggro on Dragon was still there and eventually managed to take out the Dragon by themselves. Now QTV taking a whole lot of damage from God JJ as well as Awe, but he will be able to stay alive up in this top lane. And he's down by CS, but he's not too concerned at all because if you think about it, at this point in time, he still has that goal from Dragon. He still has that global objective goal as well. So he shouldn't be too concerned at this point in time. So he just needs to really just farm up and make sure that everything goes his way. And he should be able to hit the level 6. And he does have that full channel on the teleport as well. So we have to see what happens up in the top lane from there.
Yeah, that's right. The teleport cooldown will actually be reduced when you cancel it. So that's one of the things that is beneficial when you actually realize that you can cancel it in time instead of just going in and just giving up your life and you actually have to wait for the full channel of that teleport to come back up. Like you said, miscommunication. I think if Zonda went down into the Dragon Pit, they were definitely outnumbered. Riven was not in position to go down and rotate to the Dragon, and even if O'Real managed to do it and rotate down to the Dragon, it's going to be a 4v5 fight, not in SAJ's favor.
That's right. So now we do see Zonda and QTV now brawling in the bottom lane, given the fact that the top lane turret has already gone down for SAJ over here, so they won't want to put on some counter pressure. As now we start to see QTV actually covering up that CS difference over here and having that chain vest being completed on his own end now. O'Real trying to make something happen, should be moving up to the top lane, decides not to, get spotted out by the ward as well. So Optimus, you know, he will have exact awareness of what's happening over here, so having that Seeker's Arm Guard as well. Now Safety moving into the fray, might be looking to make something happen over here, but he doesn't have Cyclone, he's just level 4 at this point of time.
That's right, I think he just wants to get his presence known in lane. We do see QTV actually use the teleport to actually appear in the bot lane to lane against Zonda, so it's going to be a 1v1 matchup Warwick against Mundo, and it seems that SAJ, after pushing down the bot turret, they decide to focus fire on the mid lane turret. Note, this is still before the 8-minute mark, so these turrets have damage reduction upon basic attacks.
Right, so it's going to take a while, but Awe now comes in from the back, uses the Zenith Blade to get into range, and the Shockwave will catch them out. Taipei Snipers has to run for their life. First blood actually goes down to Junie, and O'Real will pick up the counter kill onto Safety. So 1-for-1 trade over here, but I have to say, given it was a 4v3 engage for Saigon Jokers, that might not be the best trade, and they will put some damage down onto the mid lane turret and choose to back off.
It's quite interesting because we actually saw Awe as well as Wins go into onto that one. It gave the perfect opportunity for Optimus to actually launch his Shockwave. Thankfully, level 6 at this point of time doesn't have any AP items being built onto himself. That Shockwave's not going to do much damage. Nevertheless, they still manage to pick up first blood. They get most of the gold out from that one, and as you can see, the gold difference is still in SAJ's favor from that first blood as well as the dragon.
So I'm looking at God JJ's item at this point of time. It has that pickaxe been completed and has the longsword as well. We see the first item, Last Whisper, come down from him. Not too sure if that's going to be the item popping for him now. QTV sneaking around in the jungle of Taipei Snipers. He wants to join in the mid lane as well, like it seems, but no, actually he will be moving back into the bottom lane. And once again, Saigon Jokers, they will move back up into the top lane to continue the pressure. And I have to say, between both Junie and Archie, they have a lot of long-range burst potential, so they just really need to cover that up and make sure that they stay away from the range from Awe, and they should be able to poke it out safely as Awe now makes his return up into the top lane.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the fact that SAJ made such aggressive plays. So they took down the bot turret, they took the dragon, and now they pressured the mid turret. But look at what the rotation actually cost them. QTV is now behind in CS, Safety is also behind in CS, Optimus is behind in CS, Archie is behind in CS, and Junie is also behind in CS.
So everyone's just behind in CS there.
Exactly. So a lot of that goal lead now that SAJ occurred in the early stage of the game has now kind of shrink to about 200 gold, as you can see on your screens. Azubu Taipei Snipers being the aggressors now.
Right, so Zonda going aggressive on the QTV over there. Will use the Clivers as well. And QTV will back off safely with the help of the red buff. And red buff, what am I saying? With the help of the regeneration and the red pot over there. And O'Real now moving down to the bomb lane. We might see a potential gank here.
So QTV checks the tri-brush, and let's see if O'Real decides to... He picks the correct time to go back in. QTV knows that he needs to get the farm.
Oh, the Infinite Duress goes down to O'Real over there. He will choose to flash out of that one, but the Wind Slash is still up and ready, and he will get it in. Zonda is the one that picks up the kill, and a great movement coming in for O'Real there to secure that kill.
Great juggling of turret damage. Really questionable flash there from QTV. If he actually stayed within the turret aggro, Zonda might have not survived, and then he may have gotten a kill 1v2. Not very sure about that, so let's just see. Wind's actually going in.
Right, and the Cyclone goes down onto him. He has to flash out of the way. Zonda now joining the fray with the Cleavers and putting a whole lot of hurt onto Optimus and forces the flash out of safety as well. And looks like Saigon Jokers, they did take down the mid lane turret, but they blow a couple of resources, and now O'Real, he will decide to back off. I thought that he was going to come in to reinforce his teammates, but that's not going to be the case here. And Saigon Joker is going for the group up once more, and I think that they had a feeling that O'Real just went back, so they will choose to challenge the Dragon once again.
Yeah, not only that, God JJ is in the top lane. The time that he takes to rotate down to the Dragon should allow SAJ enough time to actually clear it out for themselves. That should increase and put them in the lead once more. 300 gold difference in favor of the Saigon Jokers.
And I have to say it's a remarkable performance from Saigon Jokers over here, because for the entirety of the last split, we were always commanding and, actually taking a whole lot of damage from the boomerang. So like I was saying, Taipei Snipers in the previous split, they were known to be the ones to really control this early game objectives over here. But this time around, looks like Saigon Jokers, they are the ones to kind of maintain that tempo over themselves. So even though that goal lead isn't as huge as they would hope for it to be, but at least they're taking it away from Taipei Snipers, so they cannot have access to all this goal.
And I really have to comment on one thing. I honestly love God JJ's build now. BF sword, pickaxe, longsword. Going flat AD items constantly gives you a lot of, I wouldn't say gold efficiency, but the fact that you're not building any lifesteal or any armor penetration at this moment, it just synergizes quite nicely with your boomerang blades. It's just going to chunk. Look at how much Junie took. And in addition to that, the early game wave clear for the side of Azubu Taipei Snipers is lacking, and God JJ building pure AD is just going to help him all that more in the terms of wave clear.
Precisely, and Taipei Snipers now looking for the siege in the mid lane, and as Wins now meets up with Optimus in the jungle.
Ricochet was enough to clear that wave.
That was pretty insane, and the flat damage coming true for JJ over here, and the mid lane turret for SAJ actually at half health now, so probably 2 more waves should be able to do it. Wins just lying around at the side waiting for the assassination to happen. So let's see what's going to be the decision for Taipei Snipers at this point of time.
Yeah, they're kind of grouping up in the mid as well as in the bot lane here. We do have Archie actually kind of free farming and pushing out the top lane of the side of SAJ. He's now rotating, trying to join his team, and it does seem that Azubu Taipei Snipers really want this mid lane turret. They have taken the rest of the outer turrets down, and they are still slightly behind in gold, about 600 in 13 minutes into the game. So no real global objectives are up just yet. Baron hasn't spawned. I don't expect any team to go for a 15-minute Baron anyway. And, since Dragon's not up, let's just take down the last outer turret.
Right, so the key difference between some of the item builds over here. Junie and Awe, if you look at their builds now, Junie has that side stone completed already, so he might have a slight, just that little bit of vision advantage over Awe, but given that said, the entire team of Taipei Snipers, everyone else has one huge item completed on their end, and for real now, it's that brutalizer as well as that BF, so a lot of physical damage is going to come true for him. And got JJ as well, just like you mentioned, and from what we saw on the screen, just a lot of flat damage is working out just so well for him. And the good thing about this build as well, it could build into a lot of other stuff as well. You can go for
decides to pick up the Bloodthirster as his first item. So that's just going to give him even more AD because of the attack damage steroid coming out from the Bloodthirster's passive.
And no boots as well. He doesn't need the boots. He could just use that ultimate on the hunt to really move around the map.
Like I said, Azubu Taipei Snipers is an extremely mobile team, and as you mentioned, on the hunt is just such a good skill. Silver doesn't really have to pick up boots, and if she kind of keeps safe in the back line. And don't forget, the fact is that the entire team of Azubu Taipei Snipers want to dive into the team of SAJ, or at least catch them as soon as possible. So he's going to be quite safe at the back, and if he does face any trouble, he does have flash, does have barrier, does have on the hunt for the mobility to get away.
And also, I feel that it's at a point of time.
Teleport coming now.
Right, we have the teleport coming down for QTV over here. He wants to, well, I think he wanted to catch something over here, but they managed to find the prey. And I think
that was a really awkward teleport. He was just below his own blue buff, and he teleported to the mid lane. So there's going to be a teleport summon a spell down for the side of SAJ. Azubu Taipei Snipers will have their teleport up right at this moment for Zonda. Let's see how they actually use the teleport, maybe in the more, in a better way. Yeah.
It might be just some mind games for QTV.
I don't know about mind games. I don't think Azubu Taipei Snipers actually fell for that. We do have safety trying to pinch O'Real here.
Right, so safety now moving on. And look at the amount of damage that's going down onto him. The Wind Slash not going to connect there, and O'Real does not pick up the kill. But just with that one spell rotation, we see safety going so low in that one. Now Zonda gives chase with their Citizen being popped as well. So it looks like Taipei Snipers want to make something happen up in this top lane, as God JJ actually pushes down the mid lane turret for themselves. So with that, Taipei Snipers has now maintained that, sorry, not actually maintained, has now gotten that goal lead, slight 400 goal in their favor.
Honestly, I was very worried when Mistake left the team because I was so afraid we wouldn't see this buffet strategy being opened up once again. And look at what the Azubu Taipei Snipers, they're like, okay, let's dust off the Mistake's old playbook. Let's play a extremely aggressive lane with an extremely aggressive jungler and just continue to pressure the objectives all day long. They're not looking for fights. All they want are the objectives.
And honestly speaking, it is a I have to say a slight modification to the buffet strategy, and for our viewers who are unsure about what the buffet strategy is, it's
basically you just start eating up the turrets.
Not only the turrets,
and objectives, of course.
Gobble up every single piece of gold in the map itself, even considering stuff like golems and wolves as well. So if Taipei Snipers manage to get any form of map control, they'll just move into the camps and get all this little bits and scraps of gold for themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking about map control, look at the amount of wards are actually on the side. We do see Zona actually give chase to safety. The glitter lance from Junie will stop him in his tracks. But look at the top side of the map. How many wards are littered there as the Azubu Taipei Snipers actually go for the dragon?
Right, it does look like Saigon Jokers not actually in position to contest for this one, so this dragon will go into their favor and the most valuable dragon so far, because that dragon now scales, the goal actually scales with time now. And for that, Taipei Snipers really making the moves here. You know, they had that slight miscommunication from the start. I think they have now polished it up just for that little bit. And 17 minutes in, they are slowly to start showing, get that snowball rolling and start showing their power in this one.
Yeah, Zonda's teleport is down. He did use that to actually get into the lane quicker and start shoving it. So Azubu Taipei Snipers just wants to get that ward control. Now their wards, a lot of their wards have expired in the jungle of SAJ. I do expect them to actually go back and buy, which they have. Look at the amount of wards are actually onto Wins as well as O'Reilly and God JJ. Not forgetting the fact that the Sidestone is already completed onto Awe, and we're just gonna have a lot more walls being littered throughout the map. So once they actually get that positional advantage down by placing the wards, their Azubu Taipei Snipers will just go full on aggressive once more.
Right, so QTV and Zonda having that little brawl in the bottom lane over here, but Zonda still has that ultimate up, so if he feels that he needs to use that to make a second health bar for himself, then he should be able to do so in a very safe manner, because there's no ignite on QTV. As now, once again, TPS, they will move up to the top lane. Archie has to use the calling, just like you said, to clear out those waves. But God JJ, with the amount of damage, will be able to slowly throw those boomerangs down those turrets, and he will pick up that turret for himself.
Yeah, that's right. We do have the Cyclone coming up from safety, though.
And safety following it at the upper zone. The Wild Growth comes down onto him, but he will not catch anyone at all. So at the end, SAJ will only secure the red buff for himself. Junie still wants to make some zoning happen over here. Winston will jump away from this one, looks like, and Taipei Snipers will be able to retreat from that siege in the top lane.
I really like what you're doing in terms of map control here. They did manage to pick up the top lane turret. So what has been happening is that Azubu Taipei Snipers are littering the map with their own wards. If SAJ decides to go through the jungle, in which you have to kind of maneuver around the walls as well as the brushes as well as some of the camps, you can easily actually use the Leona's Solar Flare. As long as you get a slow onto any of the carries, even onto Lucian, it's just gonna allow you to pop on the hunt onto Sivir and everyone conglomerate onto that target. But SAJ playing it safe, taking the long way around and preventing those picks from happening.
Right, speaking about the Solar Flare as well, if that previous Solar Flare have landed on SAJ, it would have been a completely different story, and Taipei Snipers should have been able to pick up a kill there. Now Junie just sweeping out some of the wards, and it's quite imperative that they do so as well. They need to maintain this. They need to grab away some of the vision control away from Taipei Snipers in order to come back from this one. Honestly speaking, they are not too far off. They are now 2,000 gold down, but they need to stop bleeding objectives away to Taipei Snipers.
Now let's kind of see how SAJ actually responds to this. We kind of talked about the fact that Azubu Taipei Snipers have map control. We saw earlier Junie use the sweeping lens as well as a pink ward to clear as much vision as possible, and I feel that that is what they need to do. We once again have Zonda split pushing. He uses the teleport.
We might see the teleport come down over here. Oriona making that stun up onto Archie over here. Winston in a bit of trouble, and you actually get caught out with the Cyclone as well, but the shockwave will come true. Looks like Winds will go down to Archie in the process, and at the back line, Zonda and Aoi focusing up, and the Solar Flare will go down to Junie and safety as well, and Zonda will pick up the kill. The Infinite Duress comes down onto O'Reilly. O'Reilly will go down in the process, and God JJ in the meantime left untouched. He will have the cleanup process over here, and safety goes down as well. That is a triple kill coming down for the AD carry of Taipei Snipers.
That's right, that was a 4-for-2 exchange in favor of the Azubu Taipei Snipers. They may decide to clear up some of the walls, get back some of their vision control, with Zonda actually being at full HP. They can easily tank this Baron 21 minutes in. So let's TV is onto the side. Let's kind of see what he can do about this one.
He's thinking about it. He's
not the jungler though. He doesn't have smite, but of course on the side of Azubu Taipei Snipers, they themselves don't have smite. Winds has now appeared. The rest of the Saigon Jokers are actually making a beeline for Baron. Let's just see This is a very dangerous barrier for Azubu Taipei snipers.
It looks like Vince will be able to pick that up for himself, and now QTV gets locked up with the Zenith Blade. God JJ will pick up the kill, and Optimus will back off, and the huge boomerang blade coming in from God JJ to kind of zone Optimus off, and that one boomerang blade just taking a 1/3 HP from Optimus there.
Yeah, Zonda did an extremely good job at zoning out QTV, baiting QTV into dueling with him one-on-one. And the cooldown on sadism, especially past level 11, isn't going to be all too high, but they do get a Baron buff at what cost? Are they going to lose an inhibitor turret for it? We do have Mundo, Leona, and Silva actually go back already to make the defense on this one. Now SAJ has to respond to the split push of both Wins as well as Oreo in the top and the bot lane respectively.
I have to say that Taipei Snipers took a huge gamble to stick around in the Baron pit, and eventually they managed to take out their objectives for themselves, and now Oreo with the split pushing effort will be able to take down this bottom lane. But will Saigon Jokers be able to respond to this one? Does look like Oreo should be able to get out safely, as the rest of the Taipei Snipers will group up again to stitch up this mid lane second tier turret.
Yeah, look at the second item that God JJ has decided to pick up. The Last Whisper. That's going to give you extreme amount of poke damage as well as wave clear potential on top of the BF sword that you have, that God JJ has. So if a fight breaks out, it's going to be a 5v5 fight in Azubu Taipei Snipers' favor, just because they have that 6,400 gold lead.
They have to be careful though not to get the extended team fight under the turret, because if you look at it, there's a lot of means and methods for Saigon Jokers to lock you down into turret range, and one classic way to the last trade there is from the Infinite Duress. That's gonna lock you down for the longest period of time, and then having that Cyclone, having that Shockwave as well. So Taipei Snipers, they need to choose the team fight very, very carefully.
Yeah, that's right. So they do want to siege up this turret. The pokes coming in from the Mundo Cleavers, as well as the Void Spikes from the side by Winds, and not forgetting those deadly, I hurt like a truck boomerang blades from Silver.
They definitely hit like a truck. I mean, so far in the games where we see it happen on screen, it's usually about a third of the HP or half the HP for any champions.
It's really stupid because 25 minutes into the game, God JJ, all he has to do is hit W, ricochet, that clears the wave. If it's not a cannon minion wave, every creep is going to die after 3 auto attacks since it bounces everywhere. And then all he needs to do is just, if you come near and you want to CS, I'm just going to chuck a boomerang blade at you, and then you choose. You lose CS, let your turret take damage, or you yourself take damage. That's SAJ's only choice right now. And the wave clear coming from SAJ, it's only going to come out from Archie if he actually managed to get close enough for his piercing light, but that's going to put him in too much danger, so the culling is still available for them. And Optimus as well with the command attack should be able to do some decent wave clear, but not enough to defend this mid inner turret.
So Saigon Jokers over here, they have to make sure that the defense for themselves has to really start from the inhibitor turrets. They cannot let Taipei Snipers have those super minions running into the base here, but in the meantime, Taipei Snipers now will grab another major objective for themselves, which is this dragon. It will go down to Wins in the process, so another major chunk of gold is going to go down to him. And what we saw as well was Wins taking out the blue buff, and now God JJ taking away the red buff as well. So every single scrap of gold on the map is going in Taipei Snipers' favor. So,
yeah,
like you mentioned, just building up that gold advantage.
Full jungle dominance on the side of Azubu Taipei Snipers. But speaking of which, now that the Baron buff is about to run out, and SAJ will be able to kind of defend in their own inhibitor turret, Azubu Taipei Snipers' next objective is not going to be Baron, it's not going to be Dragon, because they're both cleared out of their own pits. It's going to be an inhibitor turret. And the difference between the last turret defense and this turret defense is not only the position of the turret, but the fact that QTV, Safety, Optimus, Archie, and Junie have all their flashes up. A flash into Infinite Duress, a flash into Nimbus Strike and Cyclone will be a perfect ball delivery system for Optimus to actually pull off. And the moment they see Azubu Taipei Snipers group, I do expect safety to go in the flash, Nimbus strike into Cyclone, and if Optimus can pull off one of those clutch 5-man Oriana shockwaves, it's going to be very, very painful. But now that I actually look at it, look at Optimus's items. He has a Zonya's Hourglass and a Tear of the Goddess, which is a bit weird. He just picked up the needlessly large rod, and it's really questionable why did he pick up a Tear of the Goddess so late into the game. But we do have Oreo actually meet up Archie.
So Archie taking a whole lot of damage. Looks like he should be able to go down that one. And actually, no, the Vulgar coming in from Junie will save his life there. So good guy support Junie. And it was a 4-man effort, but I have to say absolutely
teleport coming in from Mundo.
Right, actually the teleport comes in and the Zonya's Hourglass will save him alive just for a little while longer. But Zonda eventually will pick up the kill. And the Colin comes in over here. Taipei Snipers getting zoned out over here. Archie will pick up the kill onto our way over here, and God JJ will actually go down in the process. Now Wins left alone, and he will jump into the frame, but the Winsy comes down to him. He will flash out of that one. Actually, God JJ didn't go down the process, but in the end, it was a 2-for-3 exchange.
Yeah. That's right, so God JJ actually got killed, but the fact that he had a Guardian's Angel brought him back to life to actually rejoin the fight. So
that's right.
It was a bit overzealous on the side of Oreo, and it was quite aggressive from Azubu Taipei Snipers. You had Zonda actually teleport to a ward which was inside the base just to catch out Optimus. So having that Zonya's Hourglass completed as the first item actually delayed Optimus's death long enough for the rest of SAJ to rotate from the bot lane to the mid lane to fight it out against Azubu Taipei Snipers. Overall though, it was, I believe, a 2-for-3 trade in favor of the Azubu Taipei Snipers, losing only Oreo as well as Wins in the process, whereas SAJ lost Safety, lost Optimus, and I think Junie as well.
Right, but given the fact that they are now 10,000 gold behind in this game, a 2-for-3 trade might not be the worst. I think they will take it any day, and if they can stop any form of aggression or any form of pushing power from Taipei Snipers at this point of time, I think they will be happy to take that trade, as Baron will be respawning in 20 seconds, and I think that's going to be the next point of contest, especially for Taipei Snipers over here. They want to grab it as quickly as they can for the extra push, for the extra power to finish off the game.
To be honest, Chris, it really worries me because we do have the engage coming.
And Optimus now getting caught out, and with the Zonya's Hourglass will save a life for a little while longer, and the combined damage coming in from Saigon Jokers is gonna put Taipei Snipers very low over here. The Culling comes out, and it does look like everyone's gonna collapse. A very massive team fight. God JJ picks up the double kill over here, and QTV actually chasing on to our way here. The Wolf wants to pick up the kill, but it's not gonna be the case over here, as the final clutch cleaver is going to save his life over there, and Oreo picks up the double kill for himself as well. So it's going to be BDAs for Taipei Snipers as they take out the mid lane turret. And I have to say once again, SAJ with a fantastic movement over there. Optimus was caught out, yes, but with all this damage combined on their end, they managed to drop TPS very low over here.
It's going to be quite risky if actually Azubu Taipei Snipers decides to stay in for this bot inhibitor turret, because the Baron is up, and the moment SAJ actually comes back with all those home guards on their feet and manages to get a couple of kills, especially on the God JJ Awe and even possibly Oreo, they may just lose a Baron buff. At this point of time, Azubu Taipei Snipers really needs to go back and heal up, because having to fight SAJ in the Baron pit with only one inhibitor down in the base, and the mid inhibitor no less, is going to be quite a precarious situation for the Azubu Taipei Snipers.
Right, looks like
wisely they decide to kind of back off from the Baron. They don't want to take too much of that harass from the Baron. SAJ, they have to kind of deal with the lanes that are all completely pushing into their base. Top lane, mid lane, bot lane, they are all pushing in. Look at the big waves come.
They heard the advice. They heard your advice.
They heard me.
So they will back off from Baron. So Saigon Jokers have a small breathing space. They have to make full use of this small window of opportunity. And honestly speaking, even though they are 13,000k down, if they can pull off a pick for themselves, or like you mentioned, pull off that 5-man shockwave for Optimus and chain it up with the Wild Growth or even the Cyclone, they should be able to at least put on a whole lot of hurt onto Taipei Snipers and see if the team fight will develop from there. But
here's my issue though, because the Azubu Taipei Snipers are quite squishy outside of Zonda, but SAJ doesn't have enough damage.
I think
Optimus didn't build a full damage. They will be able to get his Baron, and then there is the counter initiate.
So safety now will get called out, and the Cyclone goes down as well. So Zonda right in the front lines. Awe now in the front as well. So Zonda taking a whole lot of damage. The Culling comes down. The shutdown will go to Archie over here, but Oriel flashes into the back lines. He will pick up the kill onto Archie in the meantime, and the double kill as well. So in the end, it was a 2-for-1 exchange, and the Baron buff as well for Azubu Taipei Snipers over here.
I believe it's a 4-for-1
exchange. Yeah, 4-for-1 exchange, because on the other side of the screen, we actually see JJ pick up the double kill over there. So Optimus left to do some defensive duties. I'm going to talk about it does look like it's not going to be the case. And
really close Zenith Blade.
Yeah, very close Zenith Blade. Almost got that one in. And if he got that one in, it would definitely be a dead Optimus over here, as Taipei Snipers now push out the top lane inhibitor turret.
Honestly, I really have to question Optimus's build. He does not have enough damage. You saw how much the Shockwave actually dealt. It landed onto, I believe, Oriel as well as Awe in that last team fight, and that didn't really deal much. It does seem that Azubu Taipei Snipers will be the ones to actually finish out this game though.
Right, so they will take out the Nexus turret. So it is going to be the second victory here tonight for second victory for the